What's going on, chess lover? This is Maurice Bishop, founder of Life is a Game of Chess, and I wanted to share with y'all a game that I played on chess.com online. I played against a 2150. He calls himself Pendrade89. He played as white, and me, Tactician 30. I'm the 2143 at the time. So he was white, I was black, and we're going to show exactly what happened in this game. Alright, so without further ado, let's get it started. Alright, he played d4. I go e5. I thought it was gonna go. He goes d catches e5, go d6. It's kind of like a gambit. Knight f3, bishop g4. He takes, bishop catches d6, e3, queen e7, bishop e2, knight c6, c4, castle queenside, queen c2, knight f6. A3, the whole point of A3 is to prevent me from going to knight B4, which could be very annoying for white, so that was the whole point. I go H5 to keep my bishop there, to have a strong post, especially if my bishop wasn't there. If my knight was on there, I'll have a strong post too. He goes B4, starting a pawn storm on my queen side. Excuse me, y'all. Which I wasn't too worried. I just go knight e5. If he decides to go pawn to c5, I could just go knight catches f3 with a check. And my bishop can be free when I go to bishop e5, hitting the rook, and my dark square bishop is kind of safe. Bishop b2, knight catches f3 check. He takes with the pawn. Y'all probably thinking, oh, that's bad because it's double pawn. It really wouldn't matter in this position because even if he takes with the bishop, I'll still take back with the bishop and he'll still have a double pawn regardless. But also, another reason why he took with the pawn, because after I go bishop d7, he goes f4. The whole point of f4 is so he can go pawn c5. That's what he wanted to do to trap my dark square bishop. So I go c6 to give my dark square bishop some breathing room. He goes knight c3. I go rook d to e8, castle queenside. And I go knight g4, targeting knight captures f2, forking the two rooks. Also, if the bishop decided to take my knight on g4, then I could go bishop captures g4, also attacking a rook as well, but also leaving my light square bishop leaving it very active. So he didn't want he didn't want to trade off his light square bishop, because it'll leave my light square bishop very active. So he didn't want that. So he goes bishop f3. I go g6. Eventually I wanted to go bishop f5. But I did want to show y'all something. This was a 3-minute blitz. I forgot to tell y'all that in the beginning. This was a 3-minute blitz. I did miss the move knight captures e3. I did miss that. Because I would have been forking the queen and the rook. But even if he does take, then I would have just went queen captures e3 with a check. So not only would I have won a pawn, but I also would have won the light, or not really won, but I would have got a light square bishop out of it, and I definitely would have had a great advantage with that as well. So that's pretty much what happened. Um, but yeah, after I'm sorry, y'all. Um, so what I did is I went g6. This is what I did. I went to g6. This is the 16 move. After g6, he goes h3. He wanted to push my knight out the way because it's having too much fun. I go knight h6, and he goes king b1, which is pretty much keeping his king safe because eventually, if he wanted to push his pawn, my bishop on d6 would have captured on f4 with a check. So he wanted to get out of that madness. So I go bishop f5. He goes pawn e4. And I go back to bishop d7. Now I'm still attacking that pawn on f4, but he goes pawn e5, and I just go back to bishop c7. So now my bishop on c7 is not really having too much squares to go to. Um, my opponent goes king a1, just in case if I go back to bishop f5, he ain't got to worry about his queen being pinned and stuff. So it's just keeping it safe. Um, I go Rook H to F8, just so I could push on F6 and break that pawn strong. To break that pawn chain on E5, because that E5 is pretty much kind of strong, and I want to get my dark square bishop active again, which is what I wanted to do. So after Rook H to F8, he goes Rook H to E1, and I go pawn F6, and he actually takes. Now pause the video. I'll give y'all 10 seconds to actually figure this out. What do you think that I played? All right, guys. So if y'all said queen catches f6, you are incorrect. You are incorrect. The move that I played was queen captures e1. That's the move that I played. With queen, with the queen catches on e1, it the rooks are worth 5 points and the queen is worth 9 points. So with by me having two rooks and everything, that will be 10 points against 9. So I'll have some advantage. But also look at the pawn structure. Look at his pawn island on h3, and he has triple double pawns on f2, f4, and f6, which is also not very good for him in the end game. So so this is why I did it. So he takes, I go rook captures e1. He goes king a2, and I decided to go bishop e6. With bishop e6, the whole point of that is I was threatening checkmate. So for instance, if the queen captures this pawn, then I will go bishop captures c4 checkmate. That's what I was threatening. So, but obviously he saw that. So after bishop e6, he goes knight e4, to defend the pawn on c4, and then he goes. Um, I'm sorry. After knight e4, I go bishop captures f4. That's where I go. So then he did a blunder because I saw what he was trying to do. He was trying to attack my king side or my queen. I said my king side, my queen side. Trying to open my king up. And the thing that he missed was this capture. C captures b5. He can't take back because my light square bishop, is pinning his pawn, so he can't take back. So that was the whole point of that. Um, so after I took, he goes a4 to try to you know do some things, and it doesn't work. So I just go bishop captures c4 with a check. So after bishop captures c4, he goes king a3, and then I go. Oh, yeah. After king a3, I'm gonna let y'all figure this out. Actually, what move did y'all think that I did? Well, never mind, because I'm just realizing that this thing is actually already telling y'all the answers on the bottom. I just saw that. All right, so the move that I played was I did rook captures e4. That's what I did. Now the point is, if the queen captures or if the bishop captures, it doesn't matter. I'm threatening bishop d6, and that will be checkmate. So very tricky. So this is stuff that I was playing. So I did rook captures e4. Um, Obviously he didn't take the rook at all. He didn't take it at all, actually. He goes a catches b5, try to give himself some breathing room because he knew the bishop d6 was a threat. So I go bishop d6 check. He goes king a4, and then I go rook f4 to get out of the way of you know of the queen, because the queen was about to attack my rook. And also, y'all probably thinking the queen could take my g6 attack and my queen, but that's not going to work either, because if he does do something like this, queen captures g6, then I have um, bishop f7 check. You know, so it'd be like a discovered check, so I win his queen, so that wouldn't work. Alright, so after rook f4, he goes bishop d5. I'm sorry, bishop d5. He goes bishop d5, pinning my bishop, which wasn't a problem at all. I just went king b8, and then he goes bishop captures c4, and then I turned around and pinned him, so he can't even get out of that. So after the rook c8, he decided to go queen d2, you know, attacking my dark square bishop. And then I go rook f, capture c4 with a check. He goes king b3, and then I go knight f5, defending my dark square bishop. Now after knight f5, he decides to go f7, trying to promote his pawn to a queen when he gets a chance to, which obviously won't happen. So then I decided to go rook c2. Now in this position, he wouldn't be able to just take both of my rooks. I mean, he can, but he will lose in an endgame. The reason being is because number one, his pawns. Number one, I'm actually up a pawn, but I'm also up a minor piece. There will be no way for him to actually win this endgame at all, because you got an isolated pawn on h3, one on f2, and another one on f7, in which I can immediately, if we exchange the two rooks, I can immediately move my bishop to f8, and I could start my king march to all these pawns and win this endgame. So he knew all this, so he decided to go to queen d5, trying to get my knight out. Well, can't get my knight out the way, but I don't even think he really knew exactly what to really do, to be honest with you. But after queen d5, I just go bishop f8. You know, put that um, bishop in front of the promoted, or in front of the pass pawn, pretty much. So he goes bishop e5 check, you know, gets me a check, which wasn't a problem. I just go king a8, and then he decides to go queen e6, you know. And I decided to go rook rook to 2 to c5. You know, I'm taking this pawn right here. And then he goes bishop h2. And again, this is at the time when we was at time trouble. We was in, matter of fact, I think on move 38 we was in time trouble. And we started to move really fast. So of course, obviously, when he went to bishop h2, I actually missed this knight d4 check, winning this queen. I actually missed it, but either way, I felt like black was going to win this either way. So I actually wound up going rook catches b5 check. He goes king a4, and I go I believe I go rook b to c5. And he goes queen captures g6. I go knight d4, and he goes queen e4, and then I go rook c4 check. And remind you, he can't go to a3 because of the bishop. He can't go to b3 because of the knight on d4, and he can't go to b5 because also my knight is covering all these squares. So they only had one square to go to, which was king a5, and then I go knight c6 with a check. And of course, in this position, he resigned because he will lose the queen. So, but yeah, but either way, um, how the game would end up is if we wanted to finish it, if he comes here, I would just take this his queen, and then already I'm threatening. Like for instance, if he goes bishop g3 for some reason, I would threat this rook b4, and that would be mate. So, and there was no way he can actually there's no way he can actually stop that at all. Um, like there's literally no, there's actually it's funny because there's actually nothing he can do to stop that. After I took that queen, there's no way he could stop that mate at all. But like I said, after the knight c6 checks, he automatically resigned. Um, the only way he could stop this mate is this bishop captures. Even if you decided to promote your queen, you still getting mated either way, so it doesn't even matter. Well, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this game and everything. Hope y'all learned something at least. Um, if y'all really like this video, definitely like it, comment, please subscribe to my channel. And like I said, I'm gonna be posting a lot more videos, not just some of my games, but also live games that I play. Bullet chess, 3-minute blitz, 5-minute blitz, and even some other grandmasters, or some grandmaster games or international master games, that that I looked at and things like that. So till next time, I'll see y'all later. Bye.